Hi everybody. What's up? All right, so today's video is going to be a little, I guess a little bit different. It's not so much for entertainment as it is to just kind of talk about some of the dev stuff. So this is a continuation of the ping pong video, and hopefully this is going to be. I got some wires on my head here. Hold on. Hopefully this is going to be like a new type of video that I'm doing where I'm just chatting about a lot of this dev stuff that I find so intriguing, and hopefully you find it intriguing too. And if you don't, well, these will be labeled like Devlog. So if you see that, then you just don't watch them. Like I care. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the net of the table of all things. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on it, and it's cool, and so I wanted to like tell somebody about it. A couple of you noticed that the net actually does stuff, which in a is kind of surprising because it doesn't have to. It pretty much could just stay there. But yeah, this one moves around a little bit, and I think that's neat. Everything should be something you can interact with, right? So for this to be just a kinematic object that doesn't do anything, that just seems like a wasted opportunity. So the ball can interact with the net. But you can also interact with the net as well, and heavy objects can interact with the net. So, which is interesting. It's an interesting problem. Um, Let me pull this out a little bit. Let me just go to first person. I'll try not to shake the camera too much. It's an interesting problem in that if the ball's going to interact, the ball's like 27 grams, and if the ball's going to interact with this, it's got to be light and responsive to something the size of the ball. But if you make something that light and that thin, because the net that the ball interacts with is actually the size that you see here. It's super thin. It's super lightweight. It's got a flittery inertia tensor associated with it. And if you start interacting with it with heavier objects, there's going to be a problem. They're gonna penetrate it, get stuck in it. It's not going to be the right. It's not going to work out well at all, especially when you start interacting with heavy objects and things like that. You just don't expect that to work well. So what's going on here? How is the ball able to interact with this stuff, and also the full force of my hands and heavy weights and stuff? Well, it's actually two different nets. There's a net specific to the ball that the ball interacts with that nothing else can interact with, and then there's another net which is beefier. It's heavier. It's got a greater inertia tensor on it. It's thicker because the collider size matters a lot. When stuff's colliding and trying to depenetrate, the thickness of the colliders makes a huge difference in how that turns out. And so it's basically just two different nets, physically, and visually it's actually a couple of line renderers of all things. Just some spline calculations fed into to the line renderer object, and yeah, that's kind of cool too. So it's basically just a T with a across the top here. There's a line, and then this is a line that's got a double-sided shader, so you can see it on both sides, but it's just two-dimensional. And it's partially transparent and partially opaque. So it's just a T of two line renderings, and then, like I said, I do the calculations to make it a spline. So the actual net, the physical net that you can't really see, is a box, two different size boxes, each one for each net, and yeah, they're just on configurable joints. I actually got configurable joints on either end, so that if you push this, then the middle doesn't move quite as much because it's still pinned on the other side. If it was just one configurable joint, like in the middle with a fixed axis, then the whole thing would move, and you would push one side, and the middle would move the same distance. But this way, the middle moves a little bit less. It's a super minor detail, but it's the kind of stuff that I like to get lost in. So yeah, in fact, there's actually two configurable joints per side. because if you put a linear limit, sometimes when you use linear limits, they things like to orbit at that linear limit, and I didn't want that to happen in this case. So I've got one joint that's set up that that does one axis, and one joint that's set up that's on the other axis with linear limits. So instead of a circle, you end up with a square, and squares objects don't like to orbit in a square quite as much, and so it resolves that from happening. Anyway, some neat stuff behind the scenes on this simple net. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Although I guess I do have a couple of other things. All right, let me turn. Let me grab the paddle. Well, this is in the way. Don't need that on my ping pong table. All right, so I noticed in the video you guys didn't get to see the. Didn't get to see the red that I was talking about with the scoring. So here's that. Here, let me put this on the camera real quick. Not a big deal, but it's still a cool visual to see the scoring, to see the ball trajectory and scoring visualized. So here I'll do some throws. So here you can see the difference. So he's not reacting because none of it's green. But if I get this into the green over there, then all of a sudden he starts to get a little jumpy because he thinks the ball's coming at him. So it's kind of neat. So I'll do some more spinny stuff as well. If I can hit it, come on. I was just about to start bragging about some of the controller stuff that I've been working on. I've got the torque worked out in addition to the positional stuff on the next frame acceleration corrections, and it's fantastic. I mean, fantastic. I'm so excited about it. I'll do a whole video on that coming up. That's what all this stuff is. Here, I'll give you a sneak peek. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, not real exciting. Actually, it is. But anyway. Okay. So red stuff. Last but not least, here we go. Here's another ball. So this one is special. It's got 4 times the normal Magnus forces, which is ridiculous. The Magnus forces are the spin forces that affect the ball's trajectory while it's in the air. So this is what happens if you got too much of that. Whee! Anyway, just having a little fun. And like I said, hopefully I'll start making some videos that are more catered to the developers out there, because I really find this stuff fascinating, and it's not necessary for me to be so all the time trying to make videos that are of interest to the general public. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for checking in. I'm going to do another video, like I said, on the acceleration correction stuff. It's going to be man, it's going to be cool. There's going to be all kinds of secret sauce up in that one. So stay tuned. Talk to you later. Bye.